Go. You know, have you ever just wondered like how we see like different images, like how we see different colors and lights?
Yeah, that is something interesting.
I've always wondered how we see. Yeah, have y'all ever wondered? Well, follow me and I'll help you see.
Your eye is a sensory organ that functions like a camera. Light is electron radiation that travels in waves. Light passes through the eye by way of the pupil. The pupil adjusts its size to change the amount of light entering. For example, the pupil narrows when exposed to bright sunlight, whereas in darkness, the pupil dilates. The retina focuses light on a light-sensitive surface. This is where photoreceptors are located. Photoreceptors convert light energy into nerve impulses the brain can understand. Signals travel through the optic nerve to the thalamus, then to the midbrain where efferent neurons constrict the pupils in both eyes.
There are two types of photoreceptors in humans. One is rods and the other are cones. Rods are responsible for your peripheral vision and seeing the general shape of objects. Cones are responsible for seeing in color and very sharp, defined objects. So the cones are more centered in the retina, whereas the rods are more out towards the sides. Thus, why rods see more peripheral view and cones see a very sharp, focused image. There are three types of cones: red sensitive, blue sensitive, and green sensitive. Each one of these cones has its own ganglion that it fires to. And with that, your brain can interpret what color you're seeing. If a red sensitive neuron is firing, then you're seeing red. The same with blue and green. However, with rods, you've got a bunch of rods that can fire to one single ganglion, making it very hard to see, making it very difficult for your brain to determine where the original stimulus is coming from, which makes that image a little less defined.
The eyes take light waves that come in from the left to go all the way to the retina, but before they get to the right, they are passed through the cornea, then the pupil, and then through the lens, and accommodation through the vitreous humor, which is the jelly of the eye. Those waves go to the back of the eye into the retina. Now, once they're in the retina, the rods and cones start converting the information from light waves into neurochemical signals that the brain can eventually understand. Rods and cones are then activate the bipolar cells, which in turn activate the ganglion cells, which then send signals down the optic nerve all the way to the thalamus and then to the visual cortex.
The part of the brain that is responsible for vision is the occipital lobe. It is the smallest lobe of the brain. It is located right under the parietal lobe and right above the temporal lobe. The brain is divided into left and right hemisphere, so this lobe does have two parts, but they do interact with each other and for visual functioning. The function of this lobe is, of course, vision, but it is also for determining color properties, identifying visual stimuli, mapping out the world, and like assessing distance, size, depth things. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Rods and cones are photoreceptor cells of the retina. They are specialized to respond to electromagnetic radiation of light, turning visible light into neuronal signals that are sent to the brain. Rods and cones perform at a different wavelength, allowing for perception of light and color. When light comes into contact with these cones and rods, a series of chemical reactions occur, sending electrical impulses to the optic nerve.